back. When Brittany Merrill Underwood was just 19, she took a trip with her friends to Africa. What began as an adventure with her BFFs has turned into a 10-year odyssey that has changed her life and the lives of countless others. That's why we're shining our spotlight on her today. So please welcome Brittany Merrill Underwood. So nice to see you. So you were 19 years old, a sophomore at SMU in Texas, and you and your friends decided to take a trip to Uganda. Why did you all go, and what were you expecting to do there?
It was 2004, and I was just an average college student, never had really thought about going to anywhere in Africa, and I just wanted to spend the summer with my friends. So I actually thought we would be in Europe, and they had other plans, and so we ended up in Uganda, and yeah, it was a really difficult decision for me because, again, that was never a place that I had considered going. And so this sweet pastor noticed my terrible discomfort, and he said, you know, I want you to meet an amazing woman that I think will inspire you. So I said, okay. And we were in a slum outside of Uganda's capital city, Kampala, and wandered up to this woman's home and met Sarah Kamara. And at that point, she was not more than 3 years older than I was at the time, but lived her life with incredible passion and sacrifice as she had taken 24 kids onto her floor, and she didn't have any way to take care of them. She could offer them shelter, and so she just brought them in one by one. And I thought, oh my gosh, here I am. I've been given so much, and I haven't shared any of it with anyone. And here's this woman who has nothing, and she shares her daily bread with children so they can live. And I was absolutely inspired by her story. A couple months later, I had contacted this local pastor again and asked him what I could do to help Sarah and her kids. And I was thinking I'd send over a couple $100s and help with, you know, medical care and school fees. And he said, you know, they have a sponsorship at this point program. What they really need is a home. And I said, I'm 20 years old. I'm in college. I don't know how to make that happen, but I will pray for them. And just couldn't get this woman's story out of my head. And so I set out to build a home for Sarah and these children, which turned into a orphanage home for 180 kids.
And which is great. And you did that by raising money initially, Brittany?
Yeah. So you know, again, I had never fundraised for anything in my life. I learned I had to set up a 501c3 just to raise money. So I actually worked with SMU. They helped me incorporate, and I founded a nonprofit and raised a third of the money before I graduated college for this building for Sarah and her kids. And I moved over there in 2006 and lived there for about 5 years on and off to make this building a reality.
And so you not only did this by raising money, you decided you need to help the women help themselves in the community. So as a result, you thought, what can I do that is more sustainable?
Right. Well, as we were working on the orphanage, I'm so glad we did that, and it was amazing for these kids, but we just started thinking there's got to be a more sustainable way to impact these kids. And so we started the AKOLA project, which means to work in the local Isoga dialect in eastern Uganda. The women named the project, and we started it in 2007 to train women in rural poverty, subsistence farmers. They don't have vocational or educational backgrounds, and to make beautiful products that we sell here in the U.S., and 100% of the net profits go back to the women, and they're given a monthly wage. And so they're able to take care of, you know, 7 to 15 kids in their home. So by empowering 220 women, we've been able to impact over 1,500 kids.
And it's so, isn't that great? So wonderful. And so they're making these beautiful things. They're making clutches, they're making necklaces.
Yes. So it's incredible. The women are so talented, and they just have been able to make incredible product lines. We decided we really wanted to create a product that would not be a charity purchase, but that we could sell in high-end boutiques. So we're actually in 250 high-end boutiques nationwide. The product line's been really successful. We go to market, and we do the paper beads that the women hand roll in villages throughout Uganda. We have hand-cast metals from Ethiopia that are melted down with melted bullet shells, and the women assemble them in our vocational centers
wow,
and studios. And so, so we had to build in northern and eastern Uganda 2 centers from scratch in these rural communities. We built the roads, we built the wells to even create facilities where these women can work.
And what I think is also wonderful is I know that a lot of women have now, because they see this model or this paradigm, they're actually creating other businesses.
Right. It's incredible. Sustainability is the most important part of what we do. And so the women are involved in the entire process. They're involved in the action research phase for the They do the monitoring and evaluation, they plan their programs, and even more than that, these women, we have set them up in savings and loans associations. And so they start other local businesses that have nothing to do with us through the income that they're generating through our project. And last year, 63 women in our program started small businesses.
That is so amazing. I am so proud of you, you know. And Brittany, I think we should mention you're starting a similar program right here in the United States. Some people say, gosh, there's so much need right here at home. So you're going to be helping women in Dallas who have been the victims of sex trafficking to come up and to have this same experience of making something, selling it, and earning a living.
Right. There are so many amazing organizations in Dallas who are rehabilitating and empowering these women. The problem is there's not great training or economic possibility for these women. So we're going to kind of come in and partner with organizations who are already doing a wonderful job working with these women and train women in industrial sewing and leather making, and they'll do the finishing work on a new textiles line that we're launching, bags and home goods, in 2015. And it's amazing because there'll be a global product that women in northern Uganda spin yarn that is then taken to eastern Uganda and woven into beautiful textiles, and then the women in Dallas will do the finishing work. And it's just this amazing global model that will empower women so they can support their families and communities.
Wow, can I just say, I'm so impressed, honestly, really. What a great thing that you're doing. And I understand you brought me a necklace.
I did. So I promised, I was in Uganda a week and a half ago, and I told the women I was going to be on your show, and they wanted me to give you a necklace.
Oh, that is so beautiful. I'm so touched, honestly, and really honored, and very inspired by everything you're doing. Thank you, Brittany, and we'll be back. Is this beautiful? We'll be back right after this.